In this box is a 3D printer. So today we're going to be opening and unboxing this guy. This is the Ortur4 from Salon Technologies. They sent it to me free of charge for the purpose of this review. Also a big shout out to the 3D Printing Club. Check them out on Facebook and at 3dpc.tech. All the links will be in the description below to the 3D Printing Club and to Salon Technologies who provided this printer. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, this thing was packaged really well. A lot of protective styrofoam here that I need to get rid of. Looks like it really just comes in two pieces. We have the bed, the y-axis, all in one here, and then we have the X and the Z together here. So I'm guessing this is just going to be one of those screw it all in to the base. One thing I really like about this printer already is that they're using these really nice rails for all axes, really. A lot nicer than the really the standard with the V-slot rollers. So let's just get all this unwrapped. It looks like the bed they have. Yeah, so it looks like the material underneath here is like a Build-Tack style material, and it's oh, just one second here. They have Kapton tape on it right now. Okay, so we got our two parts here. I believe this is our filament holder. You have to go get some actual roll of filament. In the box here, or in the bag here, looks like we have a USB, with a micro SD card in it. So a micro SD card goes in right there. A little bit of sample of filament, don't really need that. We have our tools and our screws for holding everything together. Looks like a replacement Bowden tube. I also have some actual Capricorn tubing, which I'm probably going to replace this with later on. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So they provide these wooden blocks here, which are, I'm guessing, to make sure that the the Z-axis is lined up properly. So these are the exact same height. And we have our instructions. So really, we're just steps 1 through 7 here, where 6 and 7 are the filament holder. Okay. So first things first, let's get this mounted up here. Oh, we got a bunch of grease everywhere from these rails. Okay. They still have a little piece. Oh, there we go. Just need to be pushed. Okay, that's better. Alright, so now I can get these Took a little longer than expected. Let's get these screws in. My hands are so covered in grease right now that I'm having trouble doing this. Oh, this side's almost together. The other thing I'm finding so far is that this thing's pretty sturdy so far. So just a little bit about this printer. It's I believe it's got about a 250 by 305 or 310. 250 by 300 by 305 build area, so that's X, Y, and Z. Has inductive auto leveling, so we have the sensor right here. Bowden, so it's actually quite a short Bowden design. I guess the filament's supposed to sit on the side somewhere here, but the mount is up top, so that's kind of going to be a little bit strange because it's going to have to feed. There's a filament runout sensor here, which is kind of nice. Not the most sturdy of extruders, but it'll probably get the job done well enough. And these really nice rails, which should be significantly better than the standard V-slot and Delrin rollers, because you actually have metal rollers on steel, double steel rails here. Alright, one more, and then I think we're just plugging in some of the sides here. Alright, tight there. Nice. Very nice. We got our 3 plugs here, so it looks like that's our next step, is those 3 connectors. And then we're pretty much done. That's pretty well it. Okay. My hands are so greasy from touching those rails. 1. There's 2, and third one right here. Okay, so that should be about it. I know we gotta still do our leveling, so take these guys here. Now this isn't gonna be perfect, obviously. Probably better to do this with the printer fully set up and everything, but we have these metal blocks here. Ooh, okay. Oh, that's right. I still need to fix these guys in. So I'm used to my my Formbot Raptor, which has ball screws on these on the Z-axis. That this is a little bit not nearly as smooth, not nearly as nice. And I find it funny that they put Kapton tape over top. Now it might just be that for when they were doing testing before they send the machines out. That would make some sense that they don't want to ruin the really nice BuildTak style surface. I watched another video. The guy did the unboxing and they actually have blue tape on it. So, you know, something fairly similar. Just strange that they're using Kapton tape now. Oh. Okay, so this guy only has one lead screw. This guy had... Is that right? Yeah, that's only one lead screw. That's so odd. That doesn't make sense. So okay, so we're gonna have to watch out for that. That might be a little bit wobbly. Seems like it's okay for now. And then we gotta set these guys up with the blocks. Where'd they go? Okay. Something's jammed up in here. Okay, there we go. The block's sitting nice and flush here. Okay, perfect. Oh, okay, maybe that wasn't so good. Okay, that's why. Okay, perfect. Alright, looks like we're actually ready to get this thing plugged in. They provide me with a really nice set of, with some styrofoam all over them. Really nice set of clippers here. Obviously just for the filament. Oh, and the last thing is this guy, which sits up here, which I find extremely strange because needs to feed all the way down here and down this way. I'll set it up like this for now. It's probably not going to stay that way because that's not really the best place for this filament to come from. There's my recipe. Okay, so I'm gonna wash some of this grease off my hands, grab a roll of filament, and we can get started with some printing. Alright, so I got a roll of ColorFab PLA PHA to start with. And I also brought my laptop up just to see, you know, what's on this SD card, if there's any important files that we need, such as stuff for the leveling. So let's take a look. And meanwhile, we can actually turn this guy on. We can plug it in, on. Oh, you know what? Somewhere. There we go, okay. So the other thing to notice is that power supply has a switch on it for 220 to 115 voltage. And it will not work if you are in North America or somewhere else that has 115, 120 and you have it set to 220. So there we go. Okay, so on this USB we actually have a whole bunch of user's manuals, software, STL for the plastic parts of the printers, which I think are just these caps, spool stand, oh, it's just an exterior spool holder, and a whole pile of videos. Okay, so I think one thing that we need to do here, we may need to set up the Z probe. So let's just set our auto home right now. Another thing is the printer is a little bit loud. It's not using any fancy like Trinamic style drivers. Okay. Okay, so there is a Z home switch somewhere, but this guy also triggered, so I'm gonna have to just move Z up a little bit. Okay. So really we shouldn't be... Really this thing should be using the opto switch as an end stop, I believe. So, okay, so let's just start, because this does the automatic bed leveling. Oh, and this thing has power out recovery, which is kind of nice. Well, you know what? I'm just going to start by loading the filament, seeing... That's kind of interesting. Seem to be having trouble getting it through this guy. No problem activating the switch in there, but there we go. Okay. With this running through here, we end up with a lot of friction, oh, and this tube is bent. There we go. So yeah, it's a pretty good amount of friction in there to go, you know, all the way out here and then pull it through there. So this really, mounting it up here is not such a good idea. Since we have the automatic bed leveling, I don't know how much I need to set up because you can tell it was definitely pre-tested before it left their factory. And right now I'm just going to leave the Kapton tape on it. I do want to just see what happens with the SD card loaded. And if we can get a print like that. Okay. Other things to note about this printer, let me just pull up a few things. Okay, so a few other things to note about this printer, like I mentioned before. Okay, so it's 260 by 310 by 305 millimeters. They're saying it can go fairly high speed, 100 to 150 millimeters per second because of the rails. That's, I mean, any printer can really go that fast if you wanted it to. Nozzle temperature up to 275, so I'd have to check if it's an all metal hot end. Bed temp up to 100 C. It is 24 volt electronics, which is nice. Your bed will heat up a little bit quicker. It's already up to 35 right now. Nozzle's heating up really fast. And that's really about it. The linear guide rails are a nice touch. Everything runs through these drag chains, so you don't have wires all over the place. Auto bed leveling, so we'll see how well that works out of the box. Hopefully I don't have to make too many adjustments to it. I haven't used an inductive leveling in a long time. Lately it's just been BL Touch, like with the Raptor 2. Power out resume, which is a nice feature I've never used before. And it's funny because they're touting overheat protection, which is just a standard feature in Marlin, that a lot of Chinese companies tend to turn off for, you know, unknown reasons, because it is a safety item. It's really nice to have that on still. They have their own main board, which is based off the Atmega 2560. Integrated cables, built-in fuse, blah blah blah. And really, that's not much that makes it stand out, other than these rails. So we'll see what happens here. Actually ready to switch it off in case we start digging. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay. That's... Okay, nice. So looks like it didn't do any of the bed leveling, so I'll have to set that up manually. Let's dug through this Kapton, so we'll peel that guy off. And we didn't really hurt the bed, so that's okay. So I actually didn't open up the user's manual, so I'll take the blame on that one. What do you know, we're actually going now. Okay, so the bed is leveling. I think it does. Ooh. Something kind of crunched when it went all the way over. Oh, it was the cable. Okay, we'll see if that affects anything. I think it hit. Oh, okay, I see what happened here. So all it did was hit this part of the rail. Nice, okay, so now I think I just store the settings. Okay. Okay, so let's try getting something to print. Oh, let's put our SD card back in first. And this time, maybe it'll actually work. Well, we got plastic coming through there. So that's nice. Got the nice Bowden tube leakage. Actually, if this hot end says can get to 275 as it says it can, that might mean it's an all metal hot end, which means we're pretty good for getting flow out of it. So let's see. Yeah, I can see in a couple of places where I've rubbed my hand in there that it's not quite sticking well. But I also think, oh, so I have the SD card in here. So I'm actually gonna have to make my own profile for Simplify 3D in this, with this printer. We'll see how it handles Cura as well. I think it does come with a Cura profile, which would make sense, but not a simplified 3D profile. So far this printer has got me fairly impressed. It can print at fairly high quality at a fairly high speed, and it's only about $500. There are a couple things I'm already concerned with. The belt here isn't quite parallel the entire way. It does kind of go upwards at the hot end. It's not a big deal, but towards the end edges you're gonna lose a little bit of accuracy there. The bed is fine. I mean, it's a fairly heavy bed, so obviously printing at high speeds with the bed moving, tables are gonna be shaking, you're gonna get a little bit of ringing. I did notice a little bit of ringing already on this maker coin. So obviously there's a couple settings that need to be tweaked. This Bowden tube here is probably going to get replaced with Capricorn tubing. I do think that this is a good platform for upgrades. One thing that's probably going to happen to this machine is that it's going to get a removable flexible build plate, which will, allow a lot more daily printing, quicker removal of parts. But I honestly see this as more of a daily printer than my FormBot Raptor, which is a 400 by 400 by 500 printer, very large. It does its BL Touch auto leveling every single time, whereas this printer here just does its leveling and setting once, and then from there it just does the tramming based on the stored settings. Couple of things, other things I don't like up here is the filament spool. I know you can't see that too clearly on the camera, but there is a filament spool mounted up here. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for it to be routed all the way here through the filament sensor, the filament detector, into the extruder. That's going to get completely changed as well. I'm likely just going to have a spool holder on the side. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The rails are really nice. The build quality is pretty good, aside from the belt here, which again just kind of goes up towards the hot end. So yeah, for the most part, I'm really impressed with this printer. I'm really excited to see what else it's going to be capable of in the coming weeks. So look for a full review coming shortly. So if you want to see more content like this, check out my YouTube channel. I got a lot more reviews coming. Review on the FormBot Raptor. There's a review going to be on this guy. And there's something for the FlashForge Adventurer 3. A couple other reviews in the works right now as well. Check out 3dpc.tech and the 3D Printing Club Facebook page. We've got over 36,000 people there. Fantastic resource if you just want to discuss 3D printing. And check out Salon Technologies as well. Link in the description below, as well as to their AliExpress store where they're selling this printer. Again, it's only $500 US. I think it's a fantastic platform. Really easy to set up. Already getting decent prints off of it, and I think I can tune it a little bit better to get higher quality. Now, this was just thrown together Simplify 3D settings for this maker coin. So I think there's a little bit of tuning, on the printer itself, and I think I can get prints that are going to be up there with my FormBot Raptor in terms of quality. It's obviously not as big, but again, I can see this printer being more of my daily printer, rather than the huge FormBot Raptor, which sucks a lot of power and a lot of resources when you don't have to print something that's huge. This will be probably my go-to printer. So if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.